It is October the 9th, 2024. James Cooper, Quantum Truths, Simple Truths Foundation, having a birthday spiel as I sit in a very warm, comfortable room, comfortable chair here in Penzance. I'm in the heart of Penzance, in the centre at the moment. I've been in Portugal for a couple of months and I got back here last month. And I just wanted to reflect on 50 years of living on the realm as someone who knew that there was a huge conspiracy involving black magicians and just awful things ever since basically my earliest memories, really. And I have been a staunch whistleblower on everything and anything I can find to blow the whistle on. That's been the tone of my life. So it's very, very interesting for me now, as we're literally on the precipice of a new world. And I don't know how traumatic the birthing process is going to be. I suspect it's going to be very traumatic for a contingent. Well, for Swamp, obviously, it'll be the Nakba, it'll be the end. And it already is. And I would suggest that every minute now, many Swamp around the world are being taken off the board. And I think it's really helping to open up the energy channels and open up the chakras and bring in the love and the light and all the rest of it. They couldn't be around for this wonderful great awakening to happen. Of course they couldn't. Their energies can't be here now. And it's very, very interesting to watch because it's still covert, and we're in a fascinating phase where that covert nature of the war is now becoming optical. And I'm focusing on what I perceive to be the tip of the spear with the Q operation. If there was ever a man called Q, if there was one person, right now that would be reflected in the character that is called Pascal Najadi. Quite clear to me, but I can see also that most people have no idea, and the ones that do, the truthers in inverted commas that do, for various reasons, are not really doing anywhere near enough with the material that Pascal is very regularly putting out, or the team that is under the banner of Pascal Najadi. And I've spoken all about that in my quickening series on my Where We Go One We Go All Rumble channel, which deals with all of that stuff. I'm very, very busy with working out the Great Reset of about 200 years ago as well, and that's on my Old World Reset Rumble channel and Telegram group. So I'm using Telegram and Rumble now that I've worked out that Telegram and Rumble, well, I've been told that Telegram and Rumble are owned and run by USSF. I guess they created, I guess it's all completely USSF from the beginning. I was starting to think, hang on a minute, this Telegram, like this must be like, I used to say it's white hat controlled, surely. I mean, for years I've been using Telegram for the crypto stuff and all the rest, but I was like, yeah, surely this is, and now it's nice to hear confirmation from Pascal. Yes, of course it is. Of course they need their own channels that are absolutely their own from start to finish, that they have total control over. And so that's great for me, because I had previously been only really using Facebook and YouTube. I was doing BitChute as well. Numbers aren't big on BitChute. It's not a great platform, really. A lot of trolls, a lot of bots. YouTube is impossible. Don't even think about. I mean, if you've got a channel already, I see what they're doing. They're using it to talk about fairly safe stuff, and then they're pointing people onto Rumble or Odyssey to to get the meat and potatoes. So that's a good idea. But I never had a big following really on YouTube anyway. I used to store my videos up there and point customers to some of the videos about the products and things like that. I wasn't doing a truther thing on YouTube. I was doing a truther thing on Facebook and posting a lot of memes and links and all that. But then the censorship machine really kicked in. I would say it got really serious about the time of the stolen election in 2020. It got hellish, and I was someone that had built up a decent audience and a business on Facebook, so that is an ongoing challenge, creating separate new accounts and realizing that, you know, they're shadow banning you and working out, you know, is it even possible to create a second account? Will they find out? All of this has been a big learning curve. So now I'm happy. So I've got a big presence across Rumble and Telegram. As some, you know, we've got the ball rolling with subscribers and people that follow. But it's still early days. But I'd say I've probably got about 20 Telegram channels, of which probably 15 or maybe I've got about 25, and about 15 or 20 are public, so anyone can see them, and they cover all aspects of whatever I'm into. So in that sense I use it a bit like a filing cabinet for nice photos and links and words and whatever I do. So one channel is about cats, and one channel is about Pascal Najjardi and all of the Q stuff. Another channel is about meltology and the Great Reset. Another channel is about healthcare. Another channel is about making colloidal silver and Simple Truths foundation type products at home, cosmetics and pain relief stuff and all that. And I'm really happy because now when I create content, I can store it safely over there. The day that Telegram and Rumble start censoring me and banning me, then I may as well give up, because yeah, it would be game over if that was the case, I think. But it's not game over. In fact, we're just beginning, and I'm really, really excited about where everything's going. And for example, so much seems to be happening. The Pascal Najjardi stuff is tantalizing. It's big stuff coming out. A lot of calling out of the enemy before, or seemingly before, they've been arrested. Now it may be seemingly, but they through the official Pascal News channel. That's the name of it, and it is. It doesn't seem necessary to be that official, but it is the official one. Only about 700 subscribers as of October the 9th. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, they're calling out the swamp, being very vocal, being, you know, very open about they're targeting all Jews, being open, direct about how it's all a Jewish conspiracy. That's the center of it all, of course. We know that. People that know. But yeah, they're calling out, there's big, even today, a long list of names of families and names of people who were either, in their language, the walking dead, or already executed. And they've had a big long list, over 2 pages. So I remember back in the early months, May and June, and Pascal had said in one of his spiels, I think, or it may have been an interview, or it may have been one of his audio spiels. He said, you may ask why we are torturing these people beforehand by letting them know that they are, you know, marked for execution. The reason is to let you people know who are listening to this now that you're safe, because I'll continue to do it from Switzerland, from Paris, from different parts around the world. Now moving forward, you'll see me do it, hear me do it, and in that way you can be absolutely sure that you're safe. And I thought about that, and I thought, well, that's actually very true. because he wouldn't be able to say it if they weren't totally in control. So it's really refreshing for me to see that the Jewish lobby that normally just swing into action and stop anything like that, let alone calling out the executions, then it does. It tells me very clearly, as someone who feels they know kind of what's going on a bit. I'm not a newly awakening one. For me, that was actually, and it's emboldened me, and it's calmed me. It's made me really realise that it's true. You know, we are on the finish line now, and it's a very long, drawn-out operation. But this phase of it really is ending. It really is Red October. I'm pretty sure of that. And we've got one hell of a 3 weeks coming up, I would have thought. So I'm 50, and yeah, I mean, I'm happy with everything. Especially since the COVID shit, I have stopped basically hanging out with people completely. I currently live in Penzance. I've lived in Eastbourne. When the lockdown started, I was over there, Eastbourne-on-Sea, near Brighton on the coast, a very nice town. Very nice for me to spend the lockdowns there. That was a very interesting time. For me, I was there about 2.5 years, I think. And I was really making notes on everything, and I was posting them multiple times a day on Facebook and other places, making videos. That's when I really started to go to town making my videos. And I've sort of learned the ropes over the years now of putting together a video which is okay to watch, and the wind sound doesn't get in the way, and you know, I put the logo up there. So I've learned all that, and I've enjoyed that greatly. Actually, I continue to do a lot of that, especially in the meltology and Great Reset scene, which I'm a very regular contributor to that scene. Mud Flood, Tartaria, meltology. Not a peripheral side alley that you might think about having a bit of fun going down. It's like absolutely essential, but I won't go on about that. 50 years old, and I feel basically that I've got the same energy or more than when I was 20. I've never been healthier. I put virtually nothing into me that isn't natural. I'm very moderate with everything. I spend a few hours each day walking quietly in the Cornish countryside, smelling the roses and really thinking deeply about everything and calming my mind and focusing on my footsteps. And there's plenty of cats that I spend quite a lot of time with around here, so I'm aware that for me moving forward the best thing is to balance all of this change, this massive change that regardless of who you are experiencing massive change right now. And the normies who are unconscious of most of all of this would probably go, what do you mean we're all going through change? I'm not going through change. But we are. It's been one hell of a testing time. And a few of the things that I've learned through the Pascal Najadi stuff is, we don't know if it's all 100% true, but it will be coming out and verified. But I intuitively feel that certain things are very true, what he says. And I think they let you know when he's saying, that it's possible. You can see what's counterintelligence and what isn't. And there's a lot of counterintelligence around Pascal Najadi, and that's them putting it all out, and they're controlling all of it. But he said that approximately 8% on Earth have a divine human soul, plus or minus 1%. And I thought, wow, yeah, I knew that this whole thing of we're all equal, I never subscribed to that, and I knew that it wasn't wise for me to say it. As a young man, occasionally I'd sort of bring it up and I'd say, do you really think we're all equal? And it's kind of like the one thing everyone all agrees on. It's like, oh yeah, we're all equal. In the eyes of God, we're all equal. And I said, what about, someone who, the son of a arsonist rapist, and he goes and just fucks over everybody. Absolutely no repentance or shame whatsoever, and then dies. Was he equal? And it's like, well, yeah, it's just, he was confused and he had a bad life, and all of that shit. I never subscribed to it. So now you've got Pascal saying, that, it's like, well, that makes perfect sense, because these people, I've tried my whole life to get people to wake up, to follow a decent spiritual path, you know, to not be a brainwashed idiot. I've tried so hard. It's just my natural, you know, people like me, we're always trying to wake people up. And they won't, you know, they won't. So they are NPC. That means non-playable character. It's been coming up in the memes over the last few years, you know, this whole concept of NPCs. And they are, you know, and I've always felt it, I've always thought it. And there's others, you know, there's the reptiles who I've been aware of ever since my earliest memories, really, in the fourth dimensional experiences, being harassed by reptilian demonic forces, you know, during night terrors and strange in between the worlds experiences, very real. I screamed the house down, you know, really, I don't know, went on for some years, really, when I was around the pre-teens, you know, building up to the teens, around that time. Bloody hell, were they coming to get me? But that all stopped with Sai Baba, basically. Sai Baba in 1999, my great guru, the great one for me, the best thing in my life. So that's all good, and here we are on the precipice, and symbolically, emblematically, yesterday I've been putting money into this stellar lumen stuff, and I've been following very closely the QFS, then the Gesara stuff, and the divvying out, the chopping up of holding companies, and the tokenizing it, fractionated, tokenized, blockchain based. So all of these seized assets, you know, they don't just take them and go, right, well, you know, we'll think about what to do with them later. This operation is very, very, very complete in the sense that the planning, and they've taken everything that they've apprehended under the executive orders is being divvied up and tokenized. So when Trump said he's giving the power back to the people, he's giving it back to the people. He's giving back all of their assets and all of their wealth to us. And I think that the people who know about it and have been following for the last 2.5 years or so, I mean, it's been going on before that, but I got involved 2.5 years ago. Specifically, a lot of stuff started coming up. Quantum financial systems, stellar lumens, XRP ledger, all of that sort of stuff. And I think that literally this month, I honestly think that it's been running in tandem, the QFS. I think it's going to be rolled out. I think we really are going to go for our redemption appointments or our interviews or however it would work, and I can't wait. So here I am, age 50, and I've been putting a fair amount of money into all of these assets, learning a lot, made a few mistakes, not many. Mainly I've just been quite smart and spent a lot of time watching people on Zoom chats and learning as part of groups all about it. And I think I've positioned myself pretty well. And for the first time yesterday, one of the assets, which is an asset that I had my eye on over 2 years ago now, as being one of the ones that I really think is likely to pop first, because it's not reliant on the Gesara thingamajiggy, but it could well precipitate, be a good, like an explosion, demolition in a building, and it's a rug pull from Satoshi Nakamoto, or at least that's the narrative. And it's called CDEX now. It's had all sorts of names. CTG, CTGX, OPRX, X, NUR, and then CDEX. And I'm pleased to say that I've got some of all of those, because it's been a hell of a rollout. A digital war going on. Those agents that want it to fail, that want to tank the price, that want to mess everything up, and those that want to make it succeed. So I've been very alert and present in that little rollout. So let's see. But for the first time, I've actually got a bit of profit. Not a lot, but it's money that's liquid. It's not money, it's assets that's liquid. I can withdraw that into my UK bank account. There's a method that won't take long or cost a lot. I don't want to, But as someone who hasn't accumulated any kind of safety net other than just a few £1,000s in my life, I've never owned anything like a house or a car, to even have a little bit coming back now. I started in 2017 in the summer of the Bitcoin pump, and people were really paying attention. I caught into it around that time, and I haven't made a profit at all since then. But it hasn't deterred me at all, because I've been in learning mode. Got all the assets out of Bitcoin related stuff, went into ISO 2022 stuff, and then just went straight into seized assets and Swiss custody and all of this, what I call Gesara tokens and NUR and X token, all this stuff. And I think that even, I said yesterday, I wonder if on my birthday I'll actually get a pump and some liquidity in my assets that will actually put me in a position that more than I've ever had before. And I'll be honest, even when I was at my most flush, and it was only temporarily, I think I had about £10,000 that I could actually lay my hands on and say, yeah, you know, if I wanted to buy a car or something. But mainly I've only never had more than a few thousand, and that's just how I've lived, you know. If I got spare money, then I'd take myself off, I'll move. I'm semi-nomadic. So for me, the winning is so far has been just being free to study and do my walking and not be a wage slave. And I've been like that all my life, so I think that's coming to an end now. Not that I'm going to be a wage slave, but I think I'm going to be a slave, a willing slave, but a slave to my humanitarian projects, and to whether I think I'll be in a position to be a funder of humanitarian projects, so that will be my project, along with other ones. I've got some development ideas for the local area here in Penwith, and I've got some ideas for my Simple Truths Foundation, colloidal silver and skincare and all that stuff. But aside from that, I think most of my time is going to be spent allocating resources for humanitarians. So in a nutshell, the idea is to magnetize the right people to me and offer them the funding to do what they want to do in the correct way. By networking with other individuals in a similar boat to me, I'm already part of groups who've been waiting on this for years now. I'm a founder member of the HUG group in Australia, Humanitarians United group headed up by Greg Brown, and I suspect that they are going to be a massive powerhouse in the humanitarian projects world moving forward, and I suspect that Brownie will be running his summits. I guess he's based in Melbourne, I think it is, or in the Gold Coast. He's in the Gold Coast. I don't really fancy going to Australia, but then again, if the flights, if it's only an hour or two on modern flights moving forward, then that'll be all right. But yeah, I'm very, very positive about everything, and nothing's ever going to be the same again. I know that. It's been one hell of a journey, and for me, it's all eyes on the internal process of allowing the awakening process to happen. As someone who's been spiritually focused and very proactive all my life, I feel very ready. I definitely know that my whole life's been geared up towards this. So I feel lean, live, charged and ready to go, whatever may happen. Unlike the normies who don't even know that something's going to happen. Bless. So yeah, all eyes on Pascal Najari, all eyes on the tip of the spear, all eyes on God, or however you perceive it. Don't go around being an atheist, because that's silly. And join with the ascension as consciously as you can. There you go. Thanks, James Cooper, Quantum Truths Foundation, 50 years old. It's also called the Simple Truths Foundation. Quantum Truths is for all things quantum. Simple Truths is mainly for the healthcare stuff. 9th of October 2024. Thanks very much.